Right, so we've determined that the sales director or manager or VP of sales that you've hired, their focus has to be on execution. It has to be on winning business and scaling their sales team. That means that the revenue operations requirements we're going to come through right now sit on your doorstep. Let's just remind ourselves of the difference between the go-to-market orgs at 10 million ARR and 3 million ARR. So this is where we're headed towards. As a founder, CEO, you sit at the top. We're going to be having to build out a leadership team of VP level. This may be some of your current employees that are leveling up, but more likely you're going to bring people in that have got this experience to take you to the next level. We are going to be almost tripling the size of the teams, from 5 marketers to 15, from 8 sellers to 40, from 10 sellers, from 2 CSMs to 10, and building out a RevOps function. Where are we today? We're nowhere. We've got these existing team members, and so we've got to prepare ourselves to move on quite a journey. The types of things that you are going to want and need as a founder with responsibility for this function right now. Number one, you're going to need some skills that you can't afford to hire for. And I don't mean money here. You've just raised Series A. You can afford to hire a RevOps person. But can you afford, in terms of time and in terms of getting the experience of a strategic RevOps leader? Will they come to work in your organization when they're running strategic RevOps at a much larger organization? So how do you get hold of those skills this week? You need confidence. As you're going to speak with investors about the next phase of growth, you need to be able to look them in the eyes and say, I've got predictability and repeatability and consistency in my go-to-market function. If I pour gas into the engine, it is going to accelerate. You, as a founder, need to be able to give your sales director or VP of sales, whatever you want to call them, the focus on selling. R is their metric. That is what they need to be focused on. You don't want them sat in their office building out a spreadsheet on the forecasting for the next 8 weeks, or building out their hiring plan, or building out the compensation model. They need to be in front of customers, selling, helping their team to sell, and helping to coach them. You want someone who is a peer to your leaders, not a subservient, internally focused, operational person that is waiting for tasks to be given to them. What spreadsheet do you want building? Can I help you with that forecast? You want someone that is able to talk to you at your level, talk to your leaders at their level, talk to your customers and partners at their level as you define this go-to-market function. You need someone who can coach you and your other leaders on what it means to implement strategic revenue operations. A lot of people are going to come into your organization, and they're going to hear the word RevOps and they go, data, systems, process, internally focused. When that RevOps person says, I want to go and speak to customers, I want to go and speak to partners, I want to be thinking about what we sell and to who, then they're going to be confused. So you need someone that can coach your leadership on what it means to be strategic. You need someone that, as you move from just trying to find product market fit to actually building a scalable business, someone that can help you to build out and define your business model. Who is it that we're trying to sell to? What is our proposition to those customers? How are we going to price, and how are we going to sell to them? PLG versus enterprise sales, SMB versus enterprise, direct versus channel. this country versus that country. This is real strategic work, and you do not want your sales director focused on it. They should be involved, but they shouldn't be responsible for it. You need them focused on selling. Redefining or defining, if you haven't done it before, your ICP and that value proposition. You may have done a lot of experimentation in the road up to 3 million ARR, but now we need to have this really written down, and we need to then take that ICP and build it into our processes, our sales process, our opportunity definitions, our stages and our gates, and then our sales playbooks. What content are we going to provide to our sellers? What do they need to know? What do they need to show to their customers? What training do they need to go through? You do need to start hiring in your first true revenue operations roles. By the end of this phase, you're going to need a VP of revenue operations. You're going to need maybe 5 different people covering marketing, sales, and customer success. So you need to start sourcing those and bringing them on board. The technology that you're going to have in your revenue engine is going to dramatically change. You're going to be bringing on marketing tools. You're going to be bringing on sales engagement, sales enablement, data platforms. You're going to be bringing in customer success systems. And instead of silos being built, you need to bring these together into one technology engine. You'll be wanting to look at the world from your buyer's perspective. Instead of just thinking about your seller journey, you need to be thinking about your buyers. How do they find your company? What sites do they go to? What Slack communities are they members of? What analysts do they work with? How do they speak to their peers and educate themselves as they come through that process? And there's plenty more. Just getting started. I've highlighted some of the key things that you need to be thinking about. Reporting, forecasting, your sales content and training, developing your customer testimonials, maybe an early partner program, your compensation model. Get out there and speaking and learning to your existing customers and using that to build out buyer enablement tools. There is a lot of work to be done, and it sits in your lap at the moment. It should not be the sales director or VP of sales responsibility. The way that I think about this is what I call the revenue acceleration flywheel, and it's split into 2. The top half are the external activities that you need to be thinking about from a revenue operations perspective. As a prospect, as a customer, as one of your partners, what is their experience like as they come through your organization? Finding the content, going through their buyer experience, contracting with your company, going through the onboarding and on into your CSM teams, and hopefully onto upsell and renewal. Looking at that is a very external experience. It is about speaking to those prospects and customers, speaking to those partners. It is very strategic. What people often think of RevOps is below the line, is the internal aspects of it. Thinking about our systems, thinking about our data, thinking about our processes. Be sure as you go through this phase, as you start about spinning up your revenue operations infrastructure, that you are focused on the external just as much as the internal, as that is what you will need to get you up to that Series B level. From scale-wise, a couple of the metrics that you want to be thinking about building into your entire revenue operations model through this phase are, if you're focused annually, MER, if you're thinking about things more monthly. The R per head or R per FTE, as companies are much more focused on the efficiency and the profitability of the organization. Focusing on that is that 100K per head is kind of the benchmark, and then scaling up as you become more efficient. Looking at your pipeline and how you're generating that. Looking at the average size of each of the deals, and can you increase that as you go up market. What is your total addressable market, and can you expand that as you move into different segments, different regions, different territories? What is your magic number? Just as a reminder, this is the net new R that we added on this quarter divided by the sales and marketing operating expense from the previous quarter. And at this stage, it should be something like 2.3, and that starts to come down as we face some competitive headwinds as companies grow. The cost of acquiring each customer through our channels, and what is that lifetime value against that cost of acquiring the customer? Are we acquiring good customers, profitable customers, customers that don't churn, customers that upsell and expand as they go through? In our sales team, what are our conversion rates from when we create that opportunity through to closure? How long does it take for that customer to go through that opportunity to close? And when we think about our customer success teams, what is our net revenue retention or our net dollar retention across these teams? Are we increasing the revenue that we get from the customers that we keep? And through our product systems, are our customers using the product that they bought in the way that we thought they would use it, or the customer thought they would use it? What is their adoption like? Because that is going to link into our net revenue retention. And are they happy? Are they happy customers? Net promoter score. Are we finding out that our net promoter score is A, high? And can we see how that is trending with different cohorts as they come through our scaled up go-to-market function? Within the ScaleWise report that I'll link to, there are a number of quotes, and I pulled this one out because I just think it is so indicative of the phase that you're in and why you need to be focusing on this topic right now. If you've not invested in proper revenue operations and have it up and running by Series A, you're going to very quickly run into a mess. Your metrics will be difficult to uncover, and there will be deep inefficiencies in your team as you're scaling them up. The most important thing to do is to fix that immediately, because if you don't seriously get your shit together, you simply won't raise Series B. That is the heart of this. There are a lot of things to do, and there are a lot of problems that can happen right now if you don't do them. And as a founder, it's your responsibility, because by definition, you do not want your sales director focused on this. You want them focused on getting R. In the next section, I'm going to talk just about a couple of job descriptions, just so that you can understand the difference between a sales director, player manager, and a VP of sales.